Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that really gets to the heart of the UFC world. The fighters who have faded into the background while a few select superstars dominate the conversation. It's often said that only the strong survive, but as we know, that's not the whole story. Time reveals more, and many remarkable fighters like BJ Penn, Sean Sherk, Tim Sylvia, and Rashad Evans have become more of an afterthought in today's UFC landscape. Meanwhile, figures like Dana White and Joe Rogan, who don't even step into the octagon, are the names we all recognize. So let's unpack this phenomenon together and see what it really means. The life cycle of a UFC fighter. So what's the real journey like to make it into the UFC? Getting to the big leagues involves years of training, competition, and dedication. Most fighters start out in local promotions and smaller circuits. They grind it out, accumulating records and trying to catch the eye of scouts. But even once you make it to the UFC, the hard work isn't done. Performance consistency is key. Fighters need to remain at the top of their game, both physically and mentally, while handling intense media scrutiny and fan expectations. It's a brutal cycle. Lose a couple of fights and suddenly you're replaced by the next hot prospect. Marketability plays a huge role too. If you aren't connecting with fans, your time in the octagon can become a distant memory pretty quickly. Spotlight on forgotten fighters. Let's shine a light on some of these exceptional fighters who have kind of slipped through the cracks over time. First up, BJ Penn. This guy was a pioneer in the lightweight and welterweight divisions. He's a two-division champion and boasts victories over the likes of Matt Hughes and Sean Sherk. Yet in recent years, you hardly hear about him outside of retrospective discussions, especially considering his ups and downs in the octagon. Next, let's talk about Sean Sherk. This guy is a beast. Known for his insane cardio and wrestling prowess, he was a champion at lightweight and had an almost absurdly low level of takedown defense against his opponents. But with the emergence of newer stars, Sherk's legacy is often overlooked. He had such a well-rounded game, yet his name doesn't pop up in conversations about all-time greats. Then there's Tim Sylvia, who ruled the heavyweight division during a time when it was still finding its identity. He was a two-time champion and had wins over some serious heavy hitters like Andrei Arlovsky. However, as the heavyweight scene evolved, Sylvia faded into the history books. It's ironic how a fighter can dominate but still be pushed aside as new stars emerge. And let's not forget about Rashad Evans. He was so charismatic, with an undefeated streak that culminated in his light heavyweight championship. His fight IQ was off the charts, and he had the charisma to match. Yet, after retirement, it feels like he's been quieter than a heavyweight fight going to decision. The promotion is buzzing with the latest champions and rivalries, but it's rare to hear Evans mentioned. Reasons fighters fade from public consciousness. So what causes this? Well, the UFC landscape is shifting at a breakneck pace. New stars like Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey have taken center stage, creating narratives that overshadow those of previous champions. They've also managed to capture the public's attention through their unique personalities and marketable storylines. Media plays a significant role too. A fighter's marketability can heavily influence their legacy. If you can't engage the fans, you quickly become a ghost from the past. Plus, the advent of social media has changed the game. Fighters today leverage platforms to maintain visibility. If they don't, they risk being left on the sidelines. The role of non-fighter figures. Now let's talk about the role of figures like Dana White and Joe Rogan. These guys are powerhouses. Whether it's Dana's promotion of the UFC or Joe's analytical commentary, they shape how we perceive the sport. Dana White, with his business acumen, has turned UFC into a global phenomenon, while Joe Rogan's podcast has allowed fighters' stories to be shared in ways we've never seen before. Their influence means that many fighters, no matter how exceptional, can get overlooked if they aren't in the spotlight that these two create. The narrative about who we celebrate is often dictated by those who run the show crazy, right? So when we think about what it means to survive in this sport, it's more than just physical strength or talent. It's about how fighters navigate this evolving landscape. The contributions of fighters, regardless of their current popularity, should not be forgotten. Each of them added a layer to the sport and deserves recognition. What do you guys think? Who are your favorite underrated fighters in UFC history? Hit me up in the comments. If you enjoyed this content and want to dive deeper into the fighting world, make sure to subscribe for more videos. You won't want to miss what's coming. Follow us on our socials for the latest updates. And as always, keep fighting the good fight.